Booyakasha! What up, my dudes and dudettes? It's Travis Moody here with yet another Mezco 112 collective review. Today we got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe Animated Series Edition box set from Mezco, and we're going to compare, contrast, and review each turtle together with the deluxe box set. So throw on your hood and your Walkman, grab a slice of pizza, and turn those shells up. For me, the Playmates toys were what it was. I had the Comic-Con box set that came with the Turtle Van. I did sell it off because I knew these Mezcos were coming. What is your essential Ninja Turtles? I guess what I truly love about this box set, and they're ranked #1 overall in Figure of the Year. I didn't review it, I didn't deep dive, and they're still #1. It's the amalgamation of the classic Mirage comics, the Playmates toys, a touch of animated, where here you straight up get the Nickelodeon classic animated series. So in this review, I intend to compare the skin textures, colors, face sculpts, accessories, weapons. I'm very excited to run through each turtle, and this is basically how I'm going to do it. I'm going to give you guys nice shots side by side when it comes to the accessories, and then I'll have straight up like I normally do. We'll see you in a few. So in addition to comparing our specific turtles, I will compare a lot at the end as well. Looking at animated Leonardo, he actually has a damn good face sculpt for the animated series. I know people are freaking out, but this is pretty good, right? These guys are pretty wired, but it is supposed to be, well, animated. And there's a lot more of the Playmates styling. Now, while we don't get the various colors, which I truly love with these, I absolutely fell in love with the toy faces and the different skin color. As you see here, Leonardo has that deep sea green that is iconic to the Playmates. Here's more animated where they were all just generally the same color. Another note of interest is Leonardo and Michelangelo actually share the same hands. So I'll run through that once for Leo, but Donatello and Raffi have different hands. So of course we have the L from the toy, and there's from the cartoon as well. Up close comparison, looking at the shell, it seems to have the same exact cracks and sizing on it. So I'll pull back on the harness, and yeah, it looks like we have the same exact cracks. I'll pull underneath this belt. All right, so I'll pull underneath this belt, and yes, we have the same exact, it is a straight up repaint from the other one. A crazy paint scheme with the Mirage style. Comparing the soft goods, the leather, it's the exact same. You just get the brown on the right, black. The black really is nice with this animated. Really pops really well. Got the deep blue. So on the Mirage Leo, he just has the brown. It's more rustic in its tone, more chill. So just a side-by-side comparison. The classic Playmates look. It's dope that we get 3 different looks though. It's like a dream come true in a way, and you could see get gum in the teeth and everything like that. Next shading. There's a lot less shading. There's not really any cell shading. Remember with Marvel Legends, like a lot of the cell shading and stuff, but everything looks good. You got a deeper green on the shell as opposed to the brown, in contrast with bright green. So really colorful. I dig this sculpt. He's kind of smirking. He's the leader. He had pizza, but he still wants to stab somebody with his katana. So overall, I dig this Leo. Is it enough to keep the set? Not sure. We'll have to go through the 3. This is more of a curiosity video. This is like who's going to win or anything. We already know these are going to win. But, I mean, if you prefer the animated turtles, that's what I want to hear. Because the consensus is obviously these. But these sold out as well. It took maybe a little longer to sell out. Yeah, they're gone. As far as I know, like they're exclusive and gone. But yeah, that's your default Leo comparison. All right, we got our Leo in his known katana stance. So this kind of sculpt probably turns people off just because, you know, is he smiling? Is he angry? I mean, I think it's cool. It's animated, so, you know, there's that, right? Looking down the back, comparing the sheaths, the different colors. You've got a deep brown on the animated. Then you've got kind of like that redwood, very bright brown there. The gold is a little browned out on the right, so that's interesting there. Looks like the hooks have the same coloring. Of course, our harnesses have different colors, and something I forgot to mention earlier is you got different color paint on the nails. So the Mirage boys like to get pretty with it. And you got just more detail because of how washed out it is. You know, how rustic it is, while this is, stays animated, stays bright. So something interesting of note is these instructions are exactly the same, despite the fact that there's different effects in each box. Now, it looks like these are all the same, but there's additional ones that come with the animated series, or I could just be completely wrong and missed it, but pretty interesting there. Now we're taking a look at some new sculpts and the effects. So now this katana effect you got in Mirage Leo's hands, you do have in the animated series, but I believe we don't have this. Bringing in our favorite face sculpt of the year. It's not as bad as some of the others, though, let me tell you. He's just bright-eyed. He saw April O'Neil in an outfit that, yeah, I'll stop while I'm ahead. But see this effect? Tell me if I'm wrong, but this large effect I don't see in the deluxe box set. As you can see, it's a little different. It's bigger. It's just more probably like a two-hand swing, right? Well, this is more like a quick, like, serene, whatever look. He's just tired of his brother's shiznit. You got that amazing looking pepperoni pizza. Should have been ice cream and anchovies, though. They dropped the ball there. The animated pizza should have been that, but we'll go over that later. For those new to the Mezco Turtles, all two of you, at least that aren't as familiar. If you're watching this review, you definitely watched one of the original, right? But they have certain marks. So the point will go in the flatter position there to get the katana in, so you don't jam it. Just a quick weapon comparison. You got the animated climbing claw and kunai on the left for Leo. So it's more of like a orangey brown, burnt orange handle on the kunai, where you got the black for the Mirage. And then you got that, like OD brown almost. That's a brown. It looks green, but on the right, like a very greenish olive type brown. And then you got a redder brown on the animated, but those are the climbing claws. Then we have our turtle comms on the left. That's how it looks open. It generally looks the same, just different colors. You get the brighter green in the animated and the OD green for the climbing hook as well. All right, so our katanas, what I mentioned earlier about the gold, it's much brighter on the animated. Originally, I thought it was the same, but you see a nice close-up look. It's almost like a bronze on the Mirage. Handle's the same, but you got like a very dark brown, almost with some black accents, and then you got a burnt orange. As far as the silver, the Mirage feels dirtier, but it's nearly identical. It might be identical, and that could just be my eyes deceiving me. One pair of fists, 3 pairs of weapon holding hands, and you get the posing hands. Some of them are just so similar. That's one thing Mezco, they'll do face sculpts and hands that are not drastically different at all. Then just a quick hand comparison there. You just got the brighter painted nails on the Mirage, where this is more subtle. So display stands, this one has a darker background to it, but otherwise it's nearly the same, just different logo, same color. It's one of those things that's going to fool your eye. It could be printed different. This just feels like it has darker print on it than this one, but it's generally the same. Okay, diving into the articulation for a sec, I'll just use my Mirage Leo since he's already been used a little more. So we got ball joints on both the shoulders and the thighs there. So, and we also have an upper thigh swivel. We have a bicep swivel there. Double elbows, and they're covered nicely by these pads. Double knees. He can kick his own shell, if you will. So same thing, you get the pads that hide that. It's not like they have pins or anything, like WWE will put the shoulders there or whatever. So full T split, which is great. So the articulation for turtles, who are limited already, is pretty good. So obviously here, does not kick up all the way, but can do Shawn Michaels style super kick, or young bucks. You could have a super kick party. And by the way, the kunai fingers, I think I'm right. You can always let me know. And I think we got the climbing claws right. When it comes to the torso, you're very limited on the swivel, but I mean, they got shells. I guess it would be funny to wrap all the way around and do a 360, but so obviously you don't want to mess around too much with those joints. On the foot, you're only going to go up and down so much. Does have the rocker there, so you can get some really good ninja style posing. So what's great about these arms is you can actually, and this is the one thing about Mezco, as you can see, the hands tend to pop out of these wrists on every figure. On G.I. Joe, just, you got to really push it in, but you know, the more you play with it and articulate, it's going to happen. You got to, obviously it swivels there, and you got go back and forth, but nothing up and down, but you got the back and forth hand. But I was going to say, what's great is you can cross weapons, which is just terrific for ninjas. You know, put someone in a crippler crossface, but no, when it comes to just certain ninja poses, you got it. They just will, they almost hug themselves. So that's an extremely great range. And then you got obviously full 360 there, a complete ball. So just 360 however you want, which is just incredible. You want to tilt all the way like that, all the way down, up. That's as much as you're going to get with the shell there. But again, just absolutely terrific. You could pretty much pose it however you want dynamically. This is the same as the animated. It's Mikey! Booyakasha! Love this face sculpt on the animated. It's really cool. I mean, it's get the whole side eye, like, dude, bro, like, it's so cool. So cool. So looking at the shell, as you can see, it's the same. You just got all that, like, extra detail. You got the deeper shades going around the upper torso towards the neck, and all the added like scaly detail. That's why I just love these. I mean, you get this really light shade of green, but the oranges really go well with this color green. Mikey looks amazing. I like him better than Leo as far as the animated. So one issue I've had with this guy so far is his belt. Now right there. I was just about to say I was able to tighten this one up, but his belt wants to ride down every single time. It's a major issue. It's really bad, because I'm pretty sure once I put the nunchucks on here, it's just gonna slide. Now, I'm afraid to go too high, because these things seem really delicate. This stitching, I can already see some of the stitching go on some of the other parts. As you can see, it looks like there's a place to put it, and we have the same issue. And by the way, these pockets open for whatever reason, but they open, so you probably need a tool or something to close it again. I had this guy open from the last time I showed him on a Toy Kind of Mood, and there went, I don't know what that was, but something went flying. Circling back around, the highlight toes, I mean, more or less, we're getting the same color, so we don't have to go too crazy on comparisons. You guys kind of know the drill by now, but some of these turtles have different shade shells and chest plates and everything like that, so it'll be interesting to see. But you know, they're fairly similar. So actually after seeing this Michelangelo, I could see why people would want this instead, just because it's got you got the M on the front, you know, and they do detach, but the only problem is, like I said, it's riding down. You get the same patch here. Oh, that's what fell, the gold button. It looks like it fell off that one. A bright green there that pretty much doesn't look like there's any connection, so that's weird. You know, it's like all like a skin color, but here you still have like a dark brown, but not as dark since it's on his insides. But yeah, see, this belt is just coming down. So it's just going to take a little bit of tweaking and some patience and whatever. But man, remember these turtles just taking the belt off, which I don't want to do right now because I can't even get the belt on tightly. And then we got the Mirage nunchuckus on the top with the dark brown. Everything's brighter. You got the bright gold, you got the silver, and these are real metal chains, and they're not loose, which is nice. It's almost like a wire type articulation. So you can, you know, it doesn't just like most, you know, the metal nunchucks, it just goes flat down, but these are strong, tied by these little chains, and you can kind of articulate it the way you want in a way, see? And you can kind of go straight down, straight up. So that's excellent. It's amazing. Same hands, just different colors, of course. Different nails and textures of the hands. Lots to unravel here with Michelangelo. He's bugging out, but he's still kicking butt. He might just be in a trance. So yeah, some of these faces are going to be pretty polarizing. Love that we can bend the pizza into this wide grip mouth, and these eyes are totally Mirage for sure. If you can see, you got throwing darts right there. They also align here right into the belt. This seems to be holding up okay. We have our Kyoketsu Shogi and our nunchucks. Now, the nunchucks supposed to both fit in there. I'd hate to do that. They'll rip right off. It looks like you just hang one, or you maybe put one of the handles here and one of the other handles here, but I don't mind how that looks. That looks pretty cool. I mean, man, these are so much fun to pose. It actually spins. Man, I didn't even realize that. That's freaking awesome. Well, it's spinning in his hand, but man, nunchucks a fortune. I dig it. Yeah, this face, not sure. Not my cup of tea, but looking back on the back, you'll be able to fit, you know, the nunchucks right there. I would like if these were like Velcro or something, so you could fit more. But looks like 2 nunchucks will fit in there. Really scared to try it. Really scared to squeeze it in. This looks a little more durable for some reason than this one, but it's made out of the same material. See how weak looking these threads are? I'm just like a little scared of these belts to do that. For whatever reason, there's one effect with the animated Michelangelo, but we've got 2 with the box set. And I don't know about you, but they both look twisted. That smirk, and then this, he's just laughing, but blunted, which is cool, and he's bugged out. So, man, comparing these is actually pretty much a trip. So I've had some issues, because I'm messing around with this more. I've had some issues with the belt falling off. It's not the end of the world, but, you know, it is kind of is what it is. I'm sure this is going to be the same exact thing. But yeah, if we want to compare the flying nunchuck, how they look, of course, this is much more animated and brighter. This is more serene. It's almost got like it's got a white tint to it, where this is, you know, more of a blazing orangey brown. I dig them both, but you got to stick with this sculpt. This is one of the best sculpts that we've got from the animated line. It's totally animated, but it's just like, it's funny. It's chill. I dig this one the best for sure. Taking a look at the push daggers, it looks like we have a darker gray silver on the right here for the Mirage, while we have a lighter, brighter silver on there. And it's, oh. Then lastly for Mikey, just a look. And it looks like there's a slightly different color orange. This is more burnt orange and this is brighter for some reason. It's going to be hard to convey. Let's see, now I'm kind of getting it out of the ring light. But can you see that different color? This is more like a yellow. All right, Raphael, the badass. It is him, it is he. So you can see the belt on the Mirage is about halfway through, and maybe that's it. Maybe it needs to be higher, because this one feels a lot tighter than this one feels lower, and it's kind of loose down. So maybe this just needs to be hiked up a little bit. But taking a look at the sculpt, hey, it's an acceptable animated sculpt because it's Raphael and he's not always pleased. It's not the best one, the default one, actually. There's better ones. But yeah, we got Raphael. I mean, this guy on camera looks spectacular. In hand, he's kind of muted. He's not exactly my favorite of this Mirage. With this, he's got a darker green and a darker red. There's not much of a contrast, but that's, you know, he's a guy who's fighting in the shadows. But the face sculpt is obviously classic Playmates, but this one's pretty good for animated. He's got the wider body frame. We'll compare both the animated and the Mirage Turtles to each other later, so you can see the different frames. But yeah, he's definitely got the broader torso there, and we have the same exact shell, just darker and dirtier on the right, but the same scars. And the pockets, of course, we have the ninja belt with the classic Playmates R on it. And then so we've got no big pocket. You got a bigger pocket here. Get the smaller pocket, so that's interesting. Instead you got a spot for a dagger or a dart or something like that. Looking at the back, same thing. So this time we got a big pocket on the back instead of on the front right. So that is interesting. It's not exactly 101 on there. Now, do these come off? These actually slide. You can push the pocket down to match if you want. There seems to be some fight here with the strap, but you can get it all the way if you really want to. I think I'll leave it on the back for now, but just to show you, it is exactly the same belt. It's just that this was pushed back and this was pushed forward. It's everyone's favorite Raphael. I mean, I think as a kid, we were just attracted to red, even though if you're a boy, you liked blue, whatever. Raphael seems to be a consensus favorite among turtle fans. Now, this bad boy, the Mirage Raph, feels like a deluxe when you hook them all up. You've got this unique shuriken throwing effect right there. Let's get a nice look. Boom. And then, man, the size look amazing. The one thing is, when I was pushing down the size, it does push down the belt. So that becomes kind of an issue there. We get these tonfas. Of course, you know, police use them as nightsticks or billy clubs or whatever, but there's a contrast. And you can see it's a little more battle-worn damage on the right as far as the tape. It's more clean on the animated portion. And then we've got these throwing star effects. They both have the same exact throwing star effect, which are right here. Actually, this will go on the back of a side, but we'll show that in a sec. But this hand effect right here, pretty cool. And then so circling around to the back, we got the push dagger that's unique to Raphael, and you can see that comparison. It's got the same exact blade, but as far as the handle, you got the black connected to the darker brown. Then you get the silver with a lighter brown there on the push dagger. And then you've got your shuriken. I'm not going to bother putting them because it's going to look exactly the same, but you got your shuriken. There's 3 that come with Mirage Raffi. When you've got, I think, 6 different ones, of course they're going to be spread out to all the turtles, but that looks really cool souped up. Again, once you push that push dagger, it pushes the belt down, so you're going to have to fight with it. It's kind of like without the harness that Leo and Donnie have, you're going to end up fighting with the belt a little bit. You get this very sinister Raphael. He's laughing. It's so animated. He's just horrifying, but I like it for some reason. Now you have these unique effects where you could throw the size into circles, so that's real cool. I think they only come in the animated series. I just double checked and I did not see them with the regular series. And then we have Mirage Raffi enjoying a slice of pizza. He's subtly angry, so I like that face. He's like, you know, not the happiest guy in the world, but not super pissed. And then you got this throwing side effects that also come with the animated series. I believe there's 2 of each in the package, so that squeezes in right there. So if you're wondering why he comes with 12 hands while Donatello comes with only 6, it's because of all these side throwing whirling effects. So he's super deluxe. Wrapping up Raffi, we've got all these hands. And then when it comes to the stand, this one feels a little brighter red, almost an orange, if you will. But man, I don't know, that could be my eyes deceiving me or the lighting. See, it's a little more faded on the right, but that could, you know, again, that I don't know what that has to do with, but does feel a little more faded on the stand. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? All right, comparing Donnie, is right off the rip, you could tell they're just different builds. And that's what makes these turtles so great, is maybe they knew they were going to do reuse. Like these animated, we'll probably get the, you know, black and white versions, all red bandana versions of the old school Mirage, stuff like that. But they made different bucks for each turtle, more or less, some reusable parts here and there. But as of now, I mean, just right off the rip, this purple with olive green might be my favorite colorway of the 4 turtles. I'll compare those later, as I will with the animated. But as you can see, the thinner arms definitely compared to the other turtles. And it's just awesome. You know this is Donnie. He's got the longer neck. He's the nerd. He's the geek of the group. But the thing is, he's still badass. Like, we had this as a kid with this face. He's still angry, upset, and cool. And I love it. You know, but the problem is you get Donnie. And there isn't one acceptable face with Donnie. It's just like you couldn't give us a more neutral face with Donnie. It's just all goofy, silly. I get it. He's the nerd in the animated series. I mean, look at the box, right? His bros are battling. Mikey's kind of laughing. He gets away with it because he's riding skateboards and eating anchovy sundaes. But man, Donnie always has to be just a goofball. I mean, man, you got to have at least one fierce head. Maybe he just never made that expression in the animated series. I don't know. Do I have to go back and watch it? I probably should have did that before this review. I apologize. And then we take a look at the back. There. Now this is how you do a holster, right? Because I know the other one is faithful to the old turtle, but this is not going anywhere. Unlike Mikey's, which just wants to slip and fall. And maybe that's the point. Mikey's a silly dude. Maybe his belt keeps falling down, you know? Now, one thing Donnie has compared to his bros is lots of pouches. He's going to need room to work. Of course, like I said, these open. You might want to use like some tweezers or something like that. These might actually, I don't know if these open. I'm scared to try. I think they actually do. But from what I saw in another review, but man, it would be such a pain to put it back. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, does this face scare you or what? All right, so I know some prior critics had issues with the bow staff, the holster difficulty and everything like that. And what you'll have to do is put a nice squeeze on the holster back here and spin this in slowly and carefully, because you see you got these threads here and they're probably not the best. I do like they tied this into a knot, so that's a good look there. But if you slowly do it and don't lose any patience, maybe wiggle it back and forth. Now this paint looks even thicker, but it's actually rolling in a little easier. Now you've got the kunai right here for this, I'll call it the OG turtle. Instead of keep calling it like Mirage or Deluxe box set, I'll just call them OG Turtle. And I don't know if it's easier to, you could do this if you want. And just after a little bit of work, it went through. It wasn't too painful. It wasn't too bad. I dig it there. So you'll be able to do kind of what you want with the styling. And here we have some different pose comparisons with Donnie. He's got those bow staff effects there. They both share the same exact ones. So that's cool. You know, you're going to get the same bang for your buck when it comes to the blast effects. Love the posability. Staffs don't usually look cool on characters, but I'm doing my best. I'm no D-Amazing or anything like that, but I do like, you know, this is kind of when you can start using hands like this with Donnie, those posing hands. And honestly, this face isn't the best sculpt, obviously, but it's acceptable, right? I mean, he's goofy, but his eyes are inside the middle. He's got that little smirk. I like the tongue. This is probably my favorite of the Donnie faces. The last one that I'm saving for you guys might just send you guys home. All right, so OG Donnie comes with this communicator, and sadly, the animated series one does not. I think they've crapped out on a lot of accessories, and I'm sorry if you weren't able to grab this the first time. Shout out to Sci-Fi Toys. I was able to grab the set for retail. So the problem with this communicator is it's like really hard to get in. All right, so come to find out, I actually had it on the wrong arm anyway. So I got it as good as it's gonna get. It might pop out, but you could fold this down, I think, for more leverage. And you pop that open and there it is. There's nothing on the screen, I don't think. So I guess it's customizers will have a field day with decals. It's pretty cool. You know, it's kind of BioShock video game-esque right there, but yeah, none for animated Donnie, so that's kind of a bummer. Well, I should address the controversy that was out in the TMNT box set about having the same face sculpt. That people are posting, oh, there's an error. No, I thought the same thing, but there's actually a slight smirk on the right where this is more serene. But if you really look into it, they are different faces. But like I said, Mezco loves having similar hands and faces, just what they do. Okay, and then these goggles that box set Donnie comes with, sorry, he comes with all this extra stuff, actually stretch, man, because at first I was like, how do these even fit? But it feels like they stretch. Hopefully they stretch and they don't break. You got to get the tie on the bandana there and then pull this forward. It feels like it's going to snap, but it shouldn't, because otherwise it wouldn't come with it, right? Here we go. I think we got it. Cool, we got it. And it's got some clear lenses there. I can go with his communicator. So there's a different look, just different options for Donnie, but yeah, I dig it, just to separate him from the other. Now tell me that's not a face of fear. My goodness. But I love that I did a close-up because you could see all the different textures that they made into the turtle. It's pretty phenomenal what Mezco did with all that crazy detail. And you could see how that webbed cloth in there. But man, this face is something else. I don't know, guys. For those few who will use the stand, this does look like the same purple, at least to the eye, through the lens. Right, I promised some soft goods, and I wasn't kidding around. Just got like Dark Cloak, Leo, you got Detective Raph. So it's kind of like different outfits that the turtles all wore, but one of them specific to each turtle. So you got Donnie. It's got like this wizard, almost like Star Wars, Obi-Wan type cloak. So he's a Jedi through and through with that staff. And then obviously the best one, arguably, is Mikey. I gave him the angry face because he's listening to some like Mobb Deep, Hell on Earth right now or something like that. But this was a dope pose. I love it with the pizza and everything. Shout out to Wade Merrick, my buddy on Parallel Universe. Did an incredible review of the turtles way back when they came out, but I threw on the hood a little bit on the side and kept the angry face. So couldn't do a straight copy, but he did a wonderful job posing the soft goods. There's also additional soft goods here. It looks like another, like a black cape. Actually, you know what? This is a review. Let's see what it is. Why keep things in the bag, right? So what do we got? I know what we got here. It's like it's like some kind of back cape or anything. I don't know what this is. It doesn't say in the description. Maybe this is just a napkin to clean up all your pizza stains, all the dripping tomato sauce, and then you get this red type scarf. I don't know what this stuff is. I looked around a little bit on Google, couldn't find it, but yeah. All right, just some quick comparisons. You got the Supreme Knight Batman, probably my favorite Batman that Mezco has ever done. And then we got one of my top 3 figures of the year in the Mezco Dr. Doom, looking great next to the turtles, and you can see the scale is absolutely terrific. And then finally, you got maybe my favorite Mezco 112 figure for 2024 that isn't named Donnie, Mikey, Leo, or Raph. It's Storm Shadow. So instead of that soft goods, we've got the 8 Kyoto-Ketsu Shogis. I've compared these already. It's almost like the old Playmates toys, pretty much coming up with the generic weapons. These wedge blades that we have that I showed you earlier with Mikey. Coming around here, we have the shuriken. So there's 8, so 2 for each turtle, basically. And as you can see, the shells have a different size for the most part. Cracks, so same as the other turtles, except this time we had the same turquoisey blue, but as you can see, the cracks are far different. And then even the sizing on there, Donnie's shell is a little bit longer and thinner, where Leo's is wider. We got Raffi and Leo. It looks like Raffi's shell is actually a little taller. It looks like he has a smaller shell for some reason. Then we'll compare Mikey and Leo. And then it looks to be the same shell except different cracks on the sides, but Leo's actually does look a little longer. As you can see, the cracks are different. We got Raffi. He's even stockier than Mikey. Now again, these are all the same proportions as the Mirage Mezco turtles. So it's interesting how they have different frames, different sizes. Donnie and Mikey seem to be very similar in size. Looks like the arms are the same and everything like that. But you get feels like a scrawnier neck for Donnie, but it could be the same neck. Raffi still seems more jacked. The torso is wider, as you can see in the front. Arms, Raffi seem to be bigger, but it could be placement with the elbow pads there. Have that one up a little bit. Fold that down. That might actually be the same. No, he's got broader shoulders because see the joints? This one comes down much further, so he's got broader shoulders there. Leo and Donnie. Actually, the arms seem to be the same, but then you get the skinnier neck for Donnie, for sure. Similar torso, but then they got different shells. Now you see why I needed my dining room table to do this review. Anyway, we've got some box comparisons here. I want to compare the different packaging. You get the outer sleeve on the left with a nice logo, and you get a spread out Turtles right there on the right. We've got our standard Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo on the inner side of the box onto the back, or whichever side you prefer, and then we got another logo of them popping through the page, so that one's real cool. Quick shots at the side of the box. You got a nice panel art right there, and you got all the names. There's a shot at both box sets, front cover of the sleeve. And then, interestingly enough, there's no look at what's inside of the animated box set. They probably don't want to show you that it lacks a lot of soft goods. And you got your inside the box comparisons. And then we have our two logos. All right, pizza whiskey time. How do I rank them? If I was ranking them individually, Raphael takes the cake. I would give him a solid 4 out of 5. As for the rest, it lacks, obviously, the extra accessories and the soft goods. How much whiskey do they want on their pizza? It's a tough choice. I'm going to tell you that a lot of turtle heads are absolutely thrilled that the other ones came out first, because if they paid a good $400 plus shipping and tax for these, and then these other ones came out, a lot of livid folk in the community. So props to Mezco on that, releasing the super deluxe box set first. These are actually pretty pricey on the aftermarket as well, because they're completely sold out right now. And so that tells me that there's a high demand for these animated turtles. But at the end of the day, the lack of soft goods, there's a few different accessories that you get here. Donatello not having a normal looking face, just totally bug-eyed. The other three are solid. Love that Mikey face. It's probably my favorite sculpt of the entire set that we got there. Just looking to the side. I really wish they did a little better job with the face sculpts. I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5. I think it's solid, but for the money, I don't think this set's worth it for $400. All right, final thoughts on the Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe box set from Mezco Toyz, the 112 Collective. It doesn't get any better than this, folks. It just doesn't. These are the most perfect, just the playability, posability, I mean, inspired heavily by Mirage, but you know, everything Turtles just all into one. These are the only Turtles you need. I've got these two sets, and this one takes the cake. I don't even think I'm going to keep the other one. I couldn't even give it a 4 out of 5, and I spent, what, $450 on it? So I think that one's going out the door. But as far as this, these are going at the top of the shelf. This is top shelf whiskey. This top shelf bourbon pepperoni pizza with anchovies and ice cream. Whiskey pizza. I don't even know what I just said, but it doesn't matter. These are amazing, amazing, amazing. The color texture, the design. These are the action figures of the year. Nothing, not G.I. Joe, anything. Nothing is touching these Mezco 112 Deluxe box set. I'd be shocked if anything just took me aback as much as these. And am I going to buy more? Maybe to review, but likely I won't need another turtle set for a very long time. This is like the GTA 5 of toys, at least in my collection right now. It's awesome. I'm never going to stop playing with these. If you dug the review and you enjoyed the Mezco 112 Collective Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Deluxe box set versus Deluxe Animated Edition sets, please leave a like. And if you're new to the channel and you're a shellhead and you never heard of a Toy Kind of Mood, check us out. We go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. We got tons of news, reviews. It's Yo-Jo June. But for now, really appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm Trap Moody. I'll catch you in the toy aisle. Peace. Damn it, I'm going to go order some pizza.